Welcome back, it's Lincoln. Today I'm excited. I brought you on top of this small mountain that's within running distance of my place because I want to share an experience with you. And this experience has to do with a disconnect day that I just took. And on my disconnect days, I always come on top of this mountain. And these days I found to be extremely insightful, and I'm able to connect with myself and connect with the higher power. So my experience really started the day before during a breathwork session. So I've been utilizing breathwork and I've been researching breathwork since back during my master's program, and I've actually integrated it into my programming to where during the cardio aspect, I exhale more than I inhale to increase carbon dioxide within our body, which has benefits for many reasons that I'll share. Slower, longer exhales means higher carbon dioxide levels. With the bonus carbon dioxide, we gain a higher aerobic endurance. This measurement of highest oxygen consumption, called VO2 max, is the best gauge of cardiorespiratory fitness. Training the body to breathe less actually increases VO2 max, which can not only boost athletic stamina, but also help us live longer and healthier lives. But during this experience, so I inhaled deeply into my stomach, inhaled deeply into my chest, and then exhaled. Inhaled deeply into my stomach, inhaled deeply into my chest, and then exhaled. And while repeating this pattern, my body started to vibrate, and I could just feel the energies moving. And at the end of the experience, I just exhaled and I sat in silence and stillness. So during this experience, I connected, I felt myself as like one singular unit. And this encouraged me the following day to do more breath work. So like all my disconnect days, I don't talk to anybody. My morning starts with a cup or two of coffee. I'm reading, I'm researching for a couple hours. And then I'll smoke a little bit, I'll do some mobility, I'll stretch, and I'll come on a run. And this run brings me up here. And during these runs, I get insights and thoughts flood my head. And these are where new ideas are created. And I go home, take a cold shower, and I'll do a long meditation. I typically prefer an hour. I've done up to 2 hours before, but that was really extreme. I had to pee really bad by the end. It was pretty much miserable by the end. Nova was sitting next to me eating her food, and she eats really loud and it bothers me, and I go back to 1 hour meditations. 2 hour one, not for me. Will I do it sometime later in life? Probably. Anytime soon? Nah, I don't think so. These meditations, they provide me with deep insight. And so I did actually a breathwork session prior to doing my mobility. So I smoked, I did this breathwork session, and I did a Wim Hof. The Wim Hof method allows individuals to control their heart rate, temperature, and immune response, and stimulate the sympathetic system. So Wim Hof, if any of you have done it, it's just heavy breathing, and then at the end, you just hold your breath. So I have never been good at holding my breath. I know there are people, they can hold their breath 5 minutes. People have even held it up to 10 minutes. But during this session, I actually held my breath for a little over 2 minutes. That was a personal best for me. So what I recognized, I was like, okay, so for one, this breathing technique works. Second, the breathing I've been doing within my workouts have probably also benefited me as well. During my meditation, I was gifted with insight into the next steps into my training program. Now, all my training program is programmed in real time, meaning I do the workouts and then it works into my programming. So I recognized that the next steps I had to take, so I've talked about homeostasis and bringing the body back to homeostasis. And in my last video, I talked with Austin and Preston about utilizing weed and shrooms, and then even caffeine as a stimulant. All of those can be utilized to help increase our performance in one way or another. But I recognize to bring myself back to this homeostatic level, I must go through a period of time that I'm going to integrate into my programming, 6 weeks without the stimulants. So I also realized that my programming lined up to where it started the next day. So I'm currently already not drinking caffeine, I am not smoking weed, and I'm not going to drink alcohol or take any type of stimulant / drug for the next, well, now 5 weeks. So I'm doing this to remove my reliance on the caffeine or the weed. So I came out of that meditation with this whole new structure of how I'm gonna move forward. So then I went into work mode. Normally I don't like to be like in work mode on these days, but when that idea comes, just kind of run with it. But again, by the end of the meditations and by the end of doing this work, typically I'm exhausted. It's a lot of information overload, and my body needs time and sleep to process. So I normally go to bed really early on these days. Deep non-REM sleep strengthens individual memories, but REM sleep, that offers the masterful and complementary benefits of fusing and blending those element ingredients together in abstract and highly novel ways. During the dreaming sleep state, your brain will cognate vast swaths of acquired knowledge and then extract overarching rules and commonalities. The gist: we wake with a revised mind-wide web that is capable of divining solutions to previously impenetrable problems. In this way, REM sleep dreaming is informational alchemy. Along with bringing my body back to a homeostatic level, by removing the caffeine, the weed, the alcohol, I'm going to also promote increased sleep quality. And with that increased sleep quality, I hope to have more vivid and more memorable dreams, to which I can actually look a little deeper into what's the meaning behind this. What is my subconscious trying to present through these dreams? And so Matthew Walker also writes about the effect of alcohol on sleep, and REM sleep specifically. Alcohol is one of the most powerful suppressors of REM sleep that we know of. When the body metabolizes alcohol, it produces a product chemical called aldehydes and ketones. The aldehydes in particular will block the brain's ability to generate REM sleep. It's rather like a cerebral version of cardiac arrest, preventing the pulsating beat of brainwaves that otherwise power dream sleep. People consuming even moderate amount of alcohol in the afternoon or evening are thus depriving themselves of dream sleep. One of the dreams I had on my disconnect day, or that night, was I was dreaming that I was just walking through this world of trash, as if like no one cared about themselves or anything around them. And like I said, on my shroom trip, I was talking to Preston and Austin. Shrooms unlocked this like OCD trait within me. But while that was telling me that I needed to clean up the world around me, my life was also kind of in shambles at that point. That was when I was doing destructive things to myself. I was a bad influence on friends and people in my circle of influence. So that shroom experience was not only telling me that I needed to actually physically clean up aspects of my life, but also the inside as well. And Jordan Peterson talks about in his book, 12 Rules for Life. Clean your room first. Many of us are always looking to the outside world, pointing fingers, seeing what everybody else is doing wrong, without first looking inward, without first cleaning your own room, taking responsibility for what aspect is your responsibility. Even the Bible says, do not point out the speck in someone else's eye when you have a plank in your own. To clean up your own life should be your number one priority. And while none of us are perfect, because I'm definitely not perfect, and while just taking care of yourself initially might seem selfish, that is the thing that we are required to do to take that next step in life. So that was just a quick peek into my disconnect day, a little bit of the journey that I take. And I try to do these every 6 weeks to 2 months to just give myself that time and space, again, to connect with myself, to connect with a higher power. And that's where I get those insights and flooded with ideas. And if you've never done one of these days, I highly recommend it. While I don't believe solitude and cutting yourself off from people is healthy permanently, I do believe that within little spurts, it can actually help us take those next steps in our own personal growth and evolution. Please like, comment any thoughts below. I apologize, there's a little bit of wind up here, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of the beauty that I'm able to experience, and I'm blessed to live in this type of environment. Again, please comment any thoughts below. If you feel like this video would serve someone well, please share. Thank you. Have a blessed week.